Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about the latest in some injury news, both for Alabama and for Missouri. Missouri getting hit pretty hard with some injury news today, so we're going to talk about that on the start of today's show. Next up, we're also going to talk about some leadership and who are some guys that really need to step up for Alabama. You know, we've done some shorts, we've done some videos on the leadership and how I don't think they've really, taken the bull by the horns this year in terms of holding guys on the team accountable. Also, big recruiting news that came out yesterday for Alabama, flipping a tight end in this 2025 class, so we'll touch on that. Also, some interesting coaching carousel rumors out there from The Athletic, and two coaches on Alabama staff being linked to a job out there. So we will touch on all of that in today's show. But first, we are very, very close to setting some subscriber records this month in October. These are the top 4 months so far here at the Alabama Football Report for subscribers. Of course, during that Rose Bowl game, we got a lot of subscribers during that watch party. So not necessarily trying to hit that 7,000 number, but I definitely think we can get up there. Number 3, all-time for subscribers in just a single month. So help me out. We're about, what's that math there? About 600 or so away, 700, something like that. So help me out. Make sure you hit that sub button for me right now. We're going to go into some injury news first. First, on the Missouri side, their leading running back, Nate Noel, has been listed as out with a foot injury. This comes this morning from Pete Thamel. He is their leading rusher, over 500 yards for him this year. It's just a really electric running back for Missouri, which means they're going to have to go to their number 2 running back, Marcus Carroll, for this game coming up this weekend against Alabama. Like I said, Nate Noel is their leading rusher so far this season, averaging, almost 6 yards per carry. His touchdown numbers are, down, but, this is a guy that, like I said, is very electric, can hit the hole really fast, and has a little bit of that breakaway speed. So, that's going to be a really big loss for Missouri in that running back room, but you're looking at Marcus Carroll, another guy for them that I think is a pretty decent player as well. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Alabama can, capitalize off of that, be able to stop the run this weekend against Missouri. We touched on some of these guys for Alabama on yesterday's video, so I'm not going to go too far in-depth into this, but Keon Sabb is going to be out with that foot injury. But then you also have 3 other players in that defensive backfield right now that are also banged up for Alabama. Zabian Brown only played 15 snaps against Tennessee. You saw Jalen Mbakwe in there a lot. Red Morgan and Devontae Smith have also been banged up. Both of those guys only played 10 snaps in total against Tennessee this past weekend. So, this defensive back room coming into the season was very light already. And now you're going to have, lean on some of those transfer guys, some freshmen, and a guy like Bray Hubbard as well, to really pull up the rear in that defensive back room, and it's going to be tough, man. I really like Bray Hubbard as a player. He was 2-time, high school player of the year in the state of Mississippi. Played quarterback mainly in high school. Wasn't the top recruit or anything like that coming out, but man, he is a very, very athletic kid. Coming into college, makes that transition to safety. We'll see if he can really, make a spark for Alabama on the defensive side of the ball. Jalen Mbakwe got his first interception of his college career against Tennessee. Nothing, he was definitely in the right place, doing the right things, but, Nico Iamaleava was kind of getting chased outside the pocket, getting some pressure on him, got hit on the play, so that ball kind of did just like flutter up to him. But like I said, right place, right time, that's all you can really ask for. And then King Mack also played a little bit this past weekend, for Alabama in lieu of some of those injuries. He played 33 snaps at that Husky position. And then Deshaun Jones also coming into that cornerback position. He was the transfer from Wake Forest. He played 32 snaps, mainly at that corner position this past weekend. So we'll see if these guys can, really make a name for themselves coming up this weekend. If they have to play, you would really hope to get, Zabian Brown, Red Morgan, and Devontae Smith back in that starting rotation. But Bray Hubbard definitely going to play this weekend. So that is a very notable thing to look out for. Let me know in the comments section, guys, what is your concern level over these injuries, specifically in the defensive backfield? You also got guys banged up like Jaden Roberts. Everybody's speculating whether or not Jalen Milroe is banged up. So, it's to that point in the season. You're going through SEC play. There's a lot of guys banged up. Some guys, though, like Keon Sabb, going to be out for a while. Let me know at the pinned comment. Grade your concern level or scale it for me 1 to 10. Next up on today's show, may we have a leader arising finally on this Alabama team? Well, according to wide receiver coach JaMarcus Shephard, Tyler Booker might be that guy that's really starting to step up and really be that vocal leader for Alabama on their team this year, really start holding guys accountable. This is what JaMarcus Shephard, Alabama's wide receiver coach, said this morning to Alabama media about Tyler Booker stepping up and being that leader on the team. He said, Booker had a fire in him this week. He is all over every single player on this team's rear end, every single play. I mean, getting in their face, pushing the tempo, the envelope with each one of them and telling them, this is the expectation. I'm not going to tell you this over and over again. You're going to do it the right way or get out. Now, I will say this. I like hearing that from the coaches. I, appreciate the fact that he's coming out and saying there's at least somebody on the team that is doing things the way they used to be done, living up to that standard at Alabama. But I will also say this. I want to see it on Saturday. We've heard a lot about guys, being that vocal leader, yada, yada, yada. Tyler Booker's said in all of his interviews all this stuff about living up to the standard. Well, we really haven't seen it yet from anybody on this team. Touched on it in our video yesterday that I don't think anybody has stepped up, becoming a vocal leader. And, just because you don't see it on the field on Saturdays doesn't mean it's not happening at practice or anything like that. But I will say, if it is happening at practice, you're probably going to see it in the game when, things start to go awry in the game. And you haven't really seen that so far. So I definitely want to see that on Saturday if Alabama starts going through some lulls. And I do also want to talk about this. There is a difference between motivation and discipline. I think this team coming into the season was very motivated. And I think this picture right here really tells you the big keys, the difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation, think of it like this. It's December. You think, oh man, I want to get back into shape or get into shape for the first time. You're very motivated. You go to the gym. You get that gym membership. You start working out for the first couple months. You see some results. You're really happy. But then March and then April comes around and you want to go to the beach or you want to do whatever. You want to, go chase the girls because you got that fit body now and you're super excited. You want to go out there and, show people what you have done. That motivation really starts to kind of, dwindle off until it becomes nothing. Discipline is when you're doing the same things over and over and over again. Even though you don't want to, it is the right thing to do. I would love to see this Alabama team become more disciplined and less motivated if they want to be successful, for the rest of this season. I want to give a shout out also to our sponsor today. That is Olly. It is clean, fresh nutrition for your dog in 5 flavors that they will absolutely love. Right now, Olly is offering a fantastic deal to let your pup taste test a personalized meal plan. Get 60% off your first box of meals when you use promo code CHATSPORTS at olly.com. You don't have to be a vet to know that feeding your dog whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices that you can make for their health. It is a perfectly portioned, whole, fresh foods diet that has been proven to extend your pup's life by 2.5 years. Who doesn't want more time with their best friend? They have no harmful preservative fillers, no preservatives. Olly is made in the United States kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. This is how it works. You fill out Olly's 30-second quiz and they'll create a customized meal plan. Olly then crunches the numbers and recommends the right recipes and daily portions for your pup. For any first-timers, Olly will send out your pup's first box with 2 weeks worth of meals and a guide to how to gradually switch them over to their new diet. Customize your plan with Olly. Olly offers 3 different meal plans to choose from, so you can choose between a full fresh plan, a fresh topper plan, or a mixed plan with their freshly baked recipes. This right here is my dog, Luca. He absolutely loves his Olly dog food. I get home from work. First thing he wants, he runs to the kitchen. He starts jumping at the refrigerator. He just cannot get enough of his Olly dog food. I mean, he doesn't even want to go outside first. Usually, I'm at work for 10 hours sometimes, and, you would assume that your dog wants to go out to the bathroom first. No, he wants to eat his Olly dog food, and he cannot get enough of it. So head to Olly.com and tell them about your dog and use promo code CHATSPORTS, and you'll get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. That's OLLIE.com and enter promo code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, to get 60% off your first box. They offer a clean bowl guarantee on their first box. If you're not completely satisfied, you will get your money back. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. Now to some recruiting news for Alabama. It's kind of died off here during the season. Alabama did flip a player from Mississippi State last week. They got another player to flip, this time 4-star tight end Marshall Pritchett flipped from North Carolina on Tuesday, and this has been, a really big player that Alabama's been going after for a while. He's been committed to North Carolina since March. He's got offers out there from, a few dozen schools, Florida State, Miami, Michigan, just to name a few, Tennessee as well. He took his official visit back during the summer to Tuscaloosa back on June 14th through the 16th. So, got a few days there, with the program, with the coaching staff. Really got an opportunity, talk about how they would like to utilize him, in this Kalen DeBoer offense. They try to utilize the tight ends. You saw what they did with Jack Westover last year. You've seen kind of in bits and pieces when they've gone to C.J. Dupree. And pretty much every time they go to both C.J. Dupree and Josh Cuevas in this offense, it's a gain of about 15 or 20. So, Alabama really does utilize those tight ends. Number 404 overall, according to the 247 Sports composite rankings, number 22 tight end in this class. And it makes the second tight end for Alabama in this class alongside Caleb Edwards. I really like both of these guys. Caleb Edwards, top 200 player, number 9 tight end, number 12 player from the state of California. So with these two players, it seems like Alabama is going to be wrapped up in terms of recruiting at that tight end position. And look, right now, they've got a really, really solid recruiting class. 247 Sports right now has them ranked as the number 2 recruiting class. What they have to do to get above Ohio State, I really don't know for 247 Sports, but we'll see what happens there. On 3 right now, though, does have Alabama ranked as the number 1 class. They've got plenty of players in this class that can be electric, including Keelan Russell, their 5-star quarterback commit. There's a lot of players in this class that are very, very exciting to watch, and I cannot wait to see them in that Alabama uniform. So what do you guys think? Will Alabama finish with the number 1 ranked recruiting class? Like we just showed you, number 2 in 247, number 1 on 3. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Type Y for yes or N for no. Do you think Alabama will finish with the number 1 recruiting class? On to the coaching carousel now. The Athletic posted an article the other day and listed 2 different Alabama coaches as possibilities to take over for that Southern Miss job. Will Hall was fired after starting 1-6 this season, so they're going to be looking for a new head coach there. And 2 different Alabama coaches were listed on this list of 8 coaches. You got Bill Clark, the former head coach at UAB, but then you got Kane Wommack, Alabama's DC, and Freddie Roach also on this list, Alabama's defensive line coach. And I'll be honest, I don't really see how I don't see how it makes sense for honestly either one of these guys. You got Kane Wommack, who was the head coach at South Alabama last year, left a head coaching position to take a job as Alabama's defensive coordinator, and he said a ton. He wants to be here. He had a head coaching job. I don't know why you would. Honestly, I think it's an upgrade from South Alabama head coach to Alabama defensive coordinator. I think if you go and I think you're making a move back if you go from Alabama DC to the head coach of Southern Miss. It's less than a lateral move, in my opinion. It's kind of right back to square one where you were. I'd put South Alabama right there with Southern Miss. And then when you go over to Freddie Roach, I don't really see how it really makes a lot of sense for Freddie Roach either. He's never even been a coordinator in his career. He's never called plays, done anything like that. And I know there's coaches out there who haven't been coordinators and they've been relatively successful, making that move to head coach. Because at the end of the day, you're, not calling plays unless you want to, I guess. But look, I don't think it really makes sense for either one of these guys, but The Athletic did put those suggestions out there, so it is something that we wanted to talk about as well.